Good afternoon, everybody. Yet another day, but the last day of the Peer Review Board 7 Series program. But first, let me welcome our past president, Atul Gupta ji. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you today. Friends, an idea which was being sold in my mind by no other person than the past president to ensure that one of the days we should ensure all the boards, quality review boards, should come together and share their views at one point in time. Today, in the last and the final stroke, which is the 7th series program, where we are actually ensuring that all these people who are representing various boards are going to come and share their views of the activity which is being done by them. As you all are aware, we completed 6 series program from the quality aspect. And the most important part is, there is a very good saying, quality is remembered long after the price is forgotten. If the price is not a criteria, then the quality is the biggest criteria for ensuring that the services of a chartered accountant, which is always on the high demand, is being considered. And one thing which I have learned from no other person than Mr. Atul Gupta, one point which is very important for each one of us to remember. Atul bhai, on your behalf, just sharing one point. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. That is something you have actually trained all of us, because continuous improvements is the only thing. Welcome, Aniket bhai.
Thank you.
Yeah. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Perfection cannot come at any given point in time, because this profession requires a daily and every minute updation, which we have seen time and again, where the laws have been changing, the expectations have been changing. Regulators on a continuous basis are demanding so high that the independence of the chartered accountant sometimes is also being queried, and also we have to demonstrate that we are always independent in the process. Every aspect of a chartered accountant is a continuous improvement, and there cannot be a stage or a day where we can come to a perfection. This is where the entire institute ecosystem over a period of time, over a couple of decades, have come out with various quality boards. And today we are seeing one opportunity. I think it will be a historical day where all the quality review boards of various form, whether it is a peer review board, which has a different role to play, financial reporting review board, which is having a different role to play, TAQRB, then QRB, and more importantly, the Center for Audit Quality, which has been inaugurated by no other person than Mr. Atul Gupta, who thought from a different perspective where the quality improvements is to be done. And there is a measurement which is required on a continuous basis, which we need to look in and see that the continuous improvement is there, and perfection on a daily basis is measured from the practice point of view. Friends, today, this being the last day, and we have selected this time of 1 to 3 is primarily because people can just sit on the dining table, listen to this entire discussions, and ensure that the quality dissemination happens, knowledge dissemination happens. That is the focus with which we thought. Today we have with us no other person than our past president, immediate past president, Atul Gupta ji, and more importantly, a person who has been recognized and been taken on the IFAC board, which is a proud moment for all of us in India, that we have a position in the IFAC board in name of Mr. Atul Gupta. And the support is no other person than Aniket Talati, who is going to give him a complete support in the entire process. Very happy to see his elevation in the entire process, his quality, and the aspect which he's been talking with passionately among the members internationally, nationally, has been recognized, and today we have that position with us. I would not like to take much of time, but I would like to take time of our beloved past president Atul Gupta ji to share his views and all this different kind of boards which we have, and his vision which he's given us. I think Aniket bhai and both are there, I are there. We know what his thought process is, and it is going to add value to us. Atul bhai, over to you. The screen is all yours.
Thank you, Dev bhai. And I believe that you are all able to hear me. There may be some noise because I'm traveling though it's a challenging situation when you are traveling and you are speaking. But this new technology, the new post-COVID IT era, when we are at the different places in the country or in the globe, we are coming together for this kind of a programs which are very, very important for all of us. Friends, at the outset, I will say that Hidaya Nimas Sharma ji, who is the pillar of this entire program, though he is giving a credit to me to have this kind of activity. But I can tell you that I salute Daya Bhai for his untiring efforts because I always echo the importance of the quality in the entire profession. And whether it a peer review board or any activity around that, the Daya Bhai has taken the initiatives to see that all these quality review boards and the peer review board, FRRB, should act as a first wall of defense for the members so that the members, before moving to the other regulators, they should be having a brotherly touch from the ICI to give them the whatever the problems are there or weaknesses are there, and let's work upon them, and then we will be able to face any kind of challenges in the times to come. Now, friends, before I say that what all these boards are doing and what is the importance of the quality review board, peer review board, FRRB, let us discuss first of all that why these boards are required at all in the profession. Why we have all these things are there. Members are enjoying the life. Members are having all these facilities. So why these boards are being created by the ICI, and what is the trigger between behind this establishing number of boards which that today came together on this platform and discussing all these things about the different aspects of these boards. Now, my dear friend, I will give you the two, three different perspective. The first one is a global perspective that you try to understand that our profession evolves around the economic developments. So what happened that every 10 years down the line, you will have a different way of doing business. There are the digital disruptions are there. And then there are the globalization of the various jurisdictions is happening. Meaning thereby that when you are following a particular law, it is not that you are jurisdiction specific. They are today we are living in a global village, and all these laws and the various standards are having the global jurisdiction. Let us take an example of accounting standard, which today we know as a IND-AS, but actually they are the actually 99.6% IFRS only. Same way we have the auditing standards, same way we have the ethical standards, and even the other laws like GST, international taxation, risk management, valuation. Now, what is happening when you have this all the globalized environment? You have the new way of doing the business. There is always a challenge that one thing, one side you can have your global presence. The another side is that there will be a global competition. The another perspective will be that when you have to have a level playing field. So, say for example, they are from Dayanivas Sharma ji firm or any firm A and B want to go global. Now, certainly they will look for a quality benchmark. You should have that kind of a, I will say, the quality parameter, the quality ecosystem, which make you competitive with the other larger players in the market when like they are looking for the larger assignment. So, my dear friend, what I'm trying to convey you that whether it is about the regulatory requirements at the global level, when there is a global competition, or you want to have a level playing field, or even facing the different regulator. For example, you want to do a audit for a company listed in New York Stock Exchange or somewhere, then you have to follow the servants auxiliary requirement, PCOAB requirement or something like that. So what I'm trying to convey you, when you have this kind of a different perspective, there is a very, very important need that we should have that quality benchmarking in within our firm, within ourselves, that okay, whatever we are doing. So for example, a firm ABC is there. Now they want to grow, they want to compete with the global firms, they want to expand their horizons to the different level of the world. Then they require not only the support system that okay, the ICI should have a multiple disciplinary partnership, ICI should have the networking guidelines, the new guidelines initiated by the by and other colleagues here, that there should not be, there should be a larger networking opportunities in terms of the large number of representative offices or the chapters are available overseas. But also very, very importantly, they have to work on their quality. Now, when we are discussing about the quality, how you will measure the quality will be the first question. And number two, that who will measure that quality? And if there is a weakness, then who will guide us? So that was the question which triggered the entire aspect that, okay, let us have these kind of a boards. Now, what is happening that when we have the different type of boards, they have all the different, I will say the dimension. Like for example, the FRRB, what the FRRB is doing. The Aniket Bhai will be telling you the FRRB is reviewing the financial statement of certain organizations, may it be the listed company or otherwise. Likewise, the quality review board and the peer review board, what they are doing, that they are acting as a peer reviewer. That my work will be reviewed by another firm, another chartered accountant, and your work will be reviewed by the another chartered accountant, so that whatever the weaknesses are there, whatever the bottlenecks are there, whatever the quality, I will say the deficiencies are there, they should be pointed out at the first level, so that you can improve upon, and then you should be a competent based. So it will be a competency based kind of a situation. Same way we develop the digital competency maturity model that talks about the self evaluation about the digital adoption. The another board, that is tax audit or quality review board, talks about the quality or aspect of the tax audit which we are conducting. So what I'm trying to convey you, my dear friends, when you are looking for a larger horizon, you are looking for a global horizon, you are looking to compete with the global players, then not only you should have the enabling environment from the ICAI, but we all have to work on the quality. Now, when you are aware that we have a proverb that the change is the only constant. Same way, when you have the different regulatory requirement, for example, the new standards are coming, the new IFRS are in place, then there are the different requirements from the global society. Then certainly you have to work, you have to work regularly. You have to work regularly on the quality aspect of your organization, and that is something that we all are all should aspire for, and see that how we can improve upon quality and how we can work upon on this quality. So this is exactly I was mentioning you that the ICI tried to develop all these boards, and I'm thankful to thereby that thereby not only worked on the improvement of the this peer review board statement, the new peer review board statement adopted after a long time, but also he tried to create an ecosystem that when only the competent peer reviewers should be participating in the peer review process, there should be a complete mechanism when the peer reviews, whatever the peer review reports are there, they are monitored specifically by the board, and then the proper guidance is being given to the firm to act as a first line of defense. So it is a fantastic, I will say, initiative taken by the thereby that all the boards are coming together and organizing this kind of a webinar, because ultimately the quality is the essence. You are aware that last year we established the Center for Audit Quality. That is exactly, I will say, a benchmarking process. So when the Aniket Bhai is doing the FRRB, Dev Bhai is doing a peer review board, the Pramod Jainji is doing a tax audit quality review board, the government functionary is doing the quality review board. They have to analyze the quality based on certain standards. And where is the standard? How you will measure that quality? And that is something the Center for Audit Quality actually aspire for. So they are developing the audit quality maturity model. They are asking that, okay, these are the some kind of a measurement should be there, because ultimately the quality is always a subjective term. So you need some kind of a assessment tools are required, and that is some, and then guidance around that. So that's why last year we established the Center for Audit Quality, and I just admire Deva Bhai to you as well as all the colleagues who are participating in this program. Why I'm saying so? Because once you have initiated this process, that there will be the 5 board or 6 boards are coming together and organizing this webinar. There should be, I request you that maybe like a post December or pre-December, whenever you have the occasion, you do sit that all the chairmen of these boards, including the quality review board chairman, should sit together, assess the quality. I will say that where we have reached into the quality benchmarking and what should be our way forward, so that a proper guidelines to all the members should be there. It is very, very important for all of you to understand that you are actually the savior of this profession, because unless and until we will not maintain the quality, we will not increase the next level of quality, we will not benchmark the quality, certainly somebody will question us, oh, there is a problem in the quality, there is something like that, though they may not understand what is the quality means, because we are into the assurance services, we are not into the investigation services. Now, what is the quality benchmark for the assurance services? That should not only be, I will say, the preach, that should not be followed, but also that should be communicated to the society also. So I wish that not only all these 5 boards, but also the ministry and other regulators who are the parties, who are the part of this entire journey, should sit together and should discuss, deliberate, explore, and I will say that give a message to all the members of the profession that, okay, this is something we are looking for, and so that every member should be trained, they should be guided, there should be a capacity building activity, there should be empowerment that how they can achieve that quality we all are aspiring for. So it's a great program. I always cherish the work done by all the young colleagues. The first time joint council members at all, you have the energy, you have the brilliance, you have the dynamism, but these kind of activity actually close to my heart. That's why I agreed to participate in this particular program. I'm traveling with my family, but I ensure that I should be participating in this particular program because this is close to my heart. That okay, and I once again salute you that okay, you organize this kind of a program, bring all these chairmen of the FRRB, the Aniket Bhai, Pramod Jainji, Durgesh Kabraji, and other colleagues who are into the part of this entire quality consciousness in the profession. So I used to say that the Ya Sapteshu Jagrati, meaning thereby a person who is awake when everybody is sleeping. Actually, exactly the synonymous of today's program is Ya Sapteshu Jagrati. When you are working towards the quality, when you are preaching the quality, when you are disseminating the quality, when you are saying the members, you please see that we have to maintain the highest standard of the quality. The shaping desire after desire, that's next word, which is there in our motto song, meaning thereby the shaping desire after the desire towards the excellence, so integrity, towards the independence. So how you will achieve that? There should be a regular deliberation between all these forum, I will say that all the boards of the quality around the quality, and then how we can give a best to the society in the public interest, how we can do something better in the entire profession. Taking the strength of the more than 4 lakh plus member is something that should be our motto, that should be our goal. And I believe that under the guidance of our all these colleagues who are working together, we will be able to achieve this particular aspect. So my best wishes to there, bhai. I'm aware that some voice may be coming backside because I'm on the roadside. I'm standing on the roadside just to address all my colleagues, and I could not miss this opportunity to address all my members. So once again, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. My best wishes to you. It's like you touch my heart because I am always towards the quality consciousness in the profession, and it's a great beginning. And I believe that you will build upon on this particular program. It should not be the last event. It should be the beginning of the event, that you will be organizing these kind of programs jointly, some deliberations, some collaborations with all the organs who are working towards the quality. My best wishes to you, best wishes to Aniket Bhai, Pramod ji, Durgesh Bhai, and all other colleagues who are going to deliberate in this particular program. Sorry, if I miss any name of any of
Ranjit
our
Bhai.
colleagues. Ranjit Bhai. So Ranjit Bhai as well. So Ranjit Bhai have the birthday today or yesterday, I believe so. So many happy returns of the day as well to Ranjit Bhai. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul sir. Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Aniket, I think you will also echo the same thought what I have, and Durgesh Bhai also will echo the same thought. Friends, I can tell you one thing, a person who is giving his time from his family time, that means there is a value to it. The noise, Atul sir, is not something which is actually, hurted us. What actually gave us a positivity is you are stealing out time from your family time also and giving your time. That itself is something very good. And your entire deliberation, Atul bhai, with regards to quality and being constant, small or big, quality is going to be constant. That is what is going to continue all throughout. And shaping desire after desire, this is the first desire we wanted to have, that we had all the boards together and we move forward. And the couple of points which I would like to say before we say you thank you. First, wall of protection or defense, you rightly stated. I think the members, if they realize that Institute is doing so much of activity for them and creating an ecosystem which is going to protect the profession in true spirit, even by mistake, if mistake is done, we are here as a peer reviewer or a FRRB or a CAQ to do a measurement to ensure that this mistakes or the gaps are being noted well in advance so that we are effectively facing the regulators. Then the global perception, which you talked about, there is no jurisdiction. Yes, you are right. One stage is going to come, and there are many instances where peer review certificate is being considered highly by global firms, global companies which are appointing auditors, and leveraging particularly level playing ground you talked about from the quality benchmarking, which is unimaginable. Yes, Durgesh Bhai is going to share a lot of his views because he is the first person. You made him the convener of that group, which is going through the entire tough time, and they are taking the entire thing. The beauty about AQMM is unimaginable. I think all of us, when we start evaluating, it will be something fantastic. Thank you very much, Atul Bhai, for giving your time from your family time and ensuring that CA fraternity is also a family for you. And that is why you have taken the biggest position of our institute, being the president of the toughest times. Rather, I can say we have always been talking about the crossroad of profession, but the way you handled the entire year was unimaginable. Thanks to you, salute to you for giving all the value add which you have given. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. So, friends, with us, we have one more interesting person who is the chairman of Financial Reporting Review Board. Durgesh Bhai, if you are available, we can actually take you, or might be Aniket. We have all the biggest advantage, friends, I can tell you, is because of technology, we are able to connect each other. Otherwise, getting all the chairmen of those particular boards on one platform become equally difficult, and the logistical issues are totally different. Today, Atul sir has given his time from his family time. Aniket, he is actually doing his professional job, but still from the car, he's agreed to address us. And the Financial Reporting Review Board is one board where I am fortunate to be the vice chairman under his chairmanship, and it is a pleasure to work with him. This is his second year and my first year, my second year in the peer review board. So there is some commonality which is there. And one man who has actually introduced artificial intelligence to the Financial Reporting Review Board, which is going to talk to us. He is going to also give us input and insight of what kind of issues are coming up and what are the care that need to be taken. So with us, and I'm presenting you the chairman of Financial Reporting Review Board, Aniket Tilati, Central Council member. Over to you, Aniket Bhai.
Thank you so much, Daya Bhai, for the warm introduction. Let me first of all begin by complimenting and congratulating you for having conceptualized this wonderful, I would say, web interaction with audit professionals, with chartered accountants in practice, with all our colleagues who are leading in different forms of the boards of ICAI. I would also like to thank Atul Gupta ji, who in fact reposed confidence in me in the previous year by appointing me as chairman of the FRRB for the year 2021. And then Nihar Jambusaria sir, our current president, who has appointed me as the chairman of FRRB for 21-22. So yes, it is, like Daya Bhai mentioned, the second year, and a privilege to have Daya Bhai as the vice chairman of the board this year. Hence, some very important points that the Honorable President mentioned about the Yaesha Sukteshu Jagrati and how chartered accountants are the ones who are awake when others are asleep. And more importantly, he spoke about audit quality. Audit quality in terms of measurement of how good our delivery of services of the audit and attestation function, of the assurance function that we undertake every day is. I think a lot of credit goes to him and the entire council team for having conceptualized and made effective for the first time in India this concept of audit quality, where firms will have to measure the quality of how audit, attestation and assurance services are being provided by them. Daya Bhai, you would agree, Pramod ji has also joined us, that earlier we used to have quality certification in various professions. I mean, if you have to just draw a parallel, an architect's quality would probably come out in terms of a building, let's say in Hyderabad or Delhi, how beautiful it is. People will say, oh yes, who is the architect? But equally important for the architect would be, Daya Bhai, the safety standards of how compliant that building is in terms of ensuring that it is not only looking good, but is structurally also very apt, so that it is able to tolerate earthquakes, any tectonic movements, and is also able to ensure that it is the right building to house so many people. I think similar to that is the role of chartered accountants, where we don't build buildings, but the only report through which we communicate. And I often say this, we pay so much attention on the computation of tax, the income tax return, the GST return, which are in fact those of the client. Our quality is actually only reflected through our audit report and through the financial statements, which though are the responsibility of management, it is extremely important to understand that we as auditors are issuing an opinion on these financial statements. So how you would judge an architect, how you would judge another professional, I think our profession thereby is judged on the quality of financial reporting, how we report the balance sheet, the P&L, the cash flow, the notes to account. And I think in this regard, it is the role of the FRRB. Let me tell all the honorable members who are tuned in and listening to these different board functions and their roles that we are trying to do. Since 2002, when FRRB was incorporated by the council, and very important to note that neither our honorable president nor vice president are members of the board, because it is allowed to function independently. We have presence of invitees, not just of our government nominees from MCA, but very importantly from SEBI, from IRDA, and also from C&AG. And what happens at the board is what Atulji was describing are listed entities whose general purpose financial statements are selected. They are then assigned to technical reviewers who have vast amount of audit experience, and they verify the compliance of this reports. So what is this report? It is not audit evidence, audit documents, or the audit file that the board reviews. Merely on the basis of published financial statements, the balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, significant accounting policies, and notes to accounts. They are reviewed by the technical reviewer vis-a-vis our accounting standards. So Ind AS for the largest listed entities or those above the threshold of 250 crores. But for banks, insurance, and other entities, of course, the erstwhile accounting standards or the Indian GAAP. So compliance of financial statements with these standards. And like I mentioned earlier, the audit file or the documentation is not sought. So the only comparison is largely qua what is visible from the financial statements, that is disclosure, and if measurement principles are not correctly applied or the accounting policy is not in line with what is expected. So very important. We have seminars on income tax, GST, so many other topics which are always well attended. But accounting standards and standards in auditing, which like I said is the definition, the only language through which the auditor actually communicates. It is the only document through which any third person can view how good the audit is. That is in the form of the auditor's report and the financial statements. And those are reviewed. Accounting standards, standards on auditing. Again, the standards on auditing, which are with regards to sampling, with regards to documentation and audit evidence, the 500 series, those cannot be verified simply looking at the general purpose financial statements. But reporting standards, more specifically the 700 series. So where the auditor ought to have modified his opinion as per SS 705 in the form of a qualification, an adverse opinion, or a disclaimer of opinion, or when he has to draw whether these stand correctly complied with. Thereby, am I audible or some issue with the audio? Okay. So the reporting standards, that is the entire 700 series, whether the report is in the correct format as per the SS 700, it includes all the contents that the SS 700 expects. If there are CAMs, SS 701. If it's a modified opinion, 705. And if there are emphasis of matter or other paragraphs, then 706 has been correctly applied. That gets verified. And even more important, thereby, I would like to use this platform to inform all the members about a very important standard. And specifically now when we are in the post-COVID era, when a lot of industries have faced stress, Some of them have gone for restructuring. Few are not able to meet their debt covenants. SA 570, which talks about going concern, very, very important and crucial standard. And whether those requirements of SA 570 vis-a-vis going concern have been complied with. So the accounting standards, the standards on auditing, specifically the reporting standards, and guidance notes which have been issued, all these are compared, and the financial statements which the technical reviewer has, he then arrives at what are the non-compliances or deviations that are there. This is then forwarded to a group of 5 to 6 professionals, some of them having good academic experience, who then review the findings of the technical reviewer. And if there are any additional issues, for example, expert advisory opinions, for example, other pronouncements of ICAI, if there are some deviations, those get noted. They also vet all the findings of the TR. And finally, it is sent to the office, where third level of review is done by our technical directorate. And finally, the reports are presented to the board. At the board level, Dayabhai, as you are aware, Pramodji is also a member of the FRRB. We review each case. We spend hours looking at the balance sheet, P&L, notes to accounts, significant accounting policy, all the observations that in the 3 layers of verification have been found, and then try and decide what ought to be done with regards to this financial. For the matter to director discipline because of stringent non-compliance of accounting standards or auditing standards, which is impacting, in fact, the true and fair view. But in those cases where it is not that material or pervasive, what the board does, it's a very important role, Dayabai, that I would like to touch upon. You mentioned we are the steel frame. It is the review which we are doing at the board level, where we issue an advisory to the auditor, drawing attention to the fact that these standards were not in compliance with. This is where, for example, disclosure of expected by an accounting standard was not met. This is where a certain other part which was required by the standard in terms of measurement was probably not complied with. And those are issued to the auditors. Of course, in all cases, we ensure that even the management is kept in loop through the relevant regulators. So we will send the comments to SEBI, to IRDA for insurance companies, and to RBI for banks and NBFCs. And these advisories serve as a very important benchmark to improve the audit quality so that the auditor and the management, because the financial statements are again primarily the responsibility of management, and they do not make these errors. For that purpose, the advisory is issued. One very important role, Dayabhai, Pramodji, and I welcome Rajesh Sharma ji, who has also joined us as our Honorable Council member. What we play is in the form of issuing publications where, without naming the company, without including the name of the auditor, the board publishes a very sought after publication which highlights common non-compliances or errors in application of these standards. This is accounting standards, auditing standards, and of course, very importantly, the Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 requirement of the Companies Act, whether those have also been complied with or not. So that is also verified, and non-compliance is observed in these cases is published in the form of these very sought after publications. 3 of them were issued in the past for Indian GAAP or the erstwhile accounting standards, and 1 publication, Dayabai, if you can please share it on your screen again, which was issued in this year, which is for the first time a study on compliance of financial reporting requirements under Ind AS, which I had the privilege under guidance of the entire board to issue in 2021, early February, which highlights the non-compliances which the board has noticed in Ind AS financial statements. And believe me, friends, especially to those who are in practice and also the preparers who are in industry, it is the only publication in the entire world which is highlighting non-compliances noticed by regulator in terms of application of accounting standards, specifically which are IFRS compliant or converged accounting standards. And a very important publication that finally thereby I would like to request all the participants to please review. This board, as very rightly mentioned by both Dayabai and Honorable Past President Atulji, that we are all in this board largely audit professionals and chartered accountants in practice. We understand that the auditor's opinion would have to be seen in context to the date of signing. Hindsight is such a beautiful thing that after 2 years, anybody can say, oh, you ought to have done this. But it is important for us to understand, to put ourselves in the shoe of the auditor on that day of signing. And only on that basis do we decide what should be done with the case, whether it has to be referred to director discipline or an advisory is to be sent. But I can assure all participants, all the regulators, we are not in any way soft on anybody. But yes, we are people with audit assurance and attestation experience. And therefore, very important for us to put ourselves in the shoe of the auditor on that day. A judge on the basis of information he had available only on that day, not become hindsight viewers and looking at the rear view say, this was so easy to do. Based on that, the decisions are taken. And I'm confident going forward also the board will continue to do this task. I would like to thank once again Dayabai, the entire peer review board, and also our Honorable Past President for the wonderful address. I look forward to all your comments, any suggestions that you may have for improvement of the board. But let me assure you once again that we will keep doing this task independently, but very judiciously and keeping the right perspective in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aniket. I think extensively covered the entire aspect of FRRB. And one thing which I would like to say is generally when you talk about parents have to be tougher to ensure that the results and outcome of the children is fantastic. So most of the time what is happening is people are thinking that, we are getting into a more regulatory framework. But yes, it has to go in because there is a lot of responsibility also attached with our signature. And we ensure that, the quality aspect has never been compromised at any given point in time. But your input with regards to FRRB and the way we have approached, and I think this book which has come out is something very, very good. And one thing, friends, I would like to tell, Institute has not only seen from a point of view, might be Aniket, by you might be thinking that, it is a financial reporting review board where Ind AS accounting standards are applicable. But we also have other quality review boards, which we are going to talk, and Ranjit Bhai is going to come and talk about it. And Aniket, one thing which I would like to say, I'll just Pramod Bhai, before I come to you, I hope you have little time because I know you are also somewhere out, but technology is getting us together to ensure that this marks a historical day, that we all actually are forming part of this discussion today. So the point is, if it is a top line, Aniket, you will also agree, the top line is a peer review board. Peer review board is ensuring that there is a quality which has been maintained at all given time, and it has been maintained at a regular interval. Now, then the next part comes is, with regards to the TAQRB, which is having a different role. Once you perform a job, then you look into the aspects of tax audit and GST audit compliances, which we are going to have discussion. Then parallelly, we have next to it is the financial reporting review board. So one side, the peer review board is on the top, right? Then we have two things, which is TAQRB, FRRB. And above all these things, we have QRB, which is going to be discussed by Pramod Bhai. I'm going to come to you right now. But before that, what we thought is there is one more requirement, which Durgesh Bhai is going to talk about in a very detailed manner, that is with regards to Center for Audit Quality and AQMM. This is something which we thought, if you put this entire dots together, you will understand the entire ecosystem of the entire profession is being considered effectively. But before we go forward, the regulatory aspect, this has been a regular aspect for with regards to ICAI, but there is a specific section which talks about the quality review board, right? And the quality review board is coming under the aegis of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, though it is defined under the section of CA Act. But the fact is, we have something more to understand. And let me just introduce Aniket bhai. Thank you very much for joining us. You made the day, and I can understand the pain you are also going through while travel. But yes, I think profession and membership is on the peak for us, and that's the reason we all are together here. So let me welcome one of the most learned persons from NIRC, who has actually been delivering a lot of knowledge at a different level. A chairman of TAQRB, but today we have made him represent Quality Review Board because his book, I don't know how many people might have read, but one of the finest publication which he released from his individual capacity, which talks about the quality review of the firm. Pramod bhai, welcome to you for delivering your address with regards to the Quality Review Board. Though you are supposed to be the speaker, but we have actually gotten all the Quality Review Boards together. Over to you, Pramod bhai. Not audible.
Audible, Abhi? Audible?
No, audible.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Deyabai. C. Deyanama Sharma ji, the chairman of the peer review board, C. Aniket Talati ji, chairman of the financial reporting review board. Dear friends, both are very, very dear friends. Durgesh Kabra ji, shakal abhi face to face nazar nahi aa rahi, but yes, he is there. I just came to know that yes, our immediate past President Atul Gupta ji also delivered his views on this reporting aspects of the auditing process, I would say. So let me talk about the quality review board. But before that, what Deyabai said, let me try and put it in my view, the overall, because if we talk about auditing, ICAI or members of ICAI in practice are the only persons right now who can issue or conduct an audit of a financial statements as of now. The process is this, that we have got a monopoly and we have to maintain it. We have to maintain it. If we are not able to maintain, then there could be issues. So my humble request to whosoever is watching today, later, that we need to maintain it and improve our understanding of all the technical standards, which includes the accounting standards, Ind AS, or standards on auditing and other engagement standards. We need to understand all these things. So how is our audit work being reviewed? Let me share my screen with a blank PPT to just put out my views on how it is being done. Friends, if I talk about the reviewers of audit work, in my view, reviewers are separate and the punishers are separate, the disciplinary mechanism. For example, if I talk about the disciplinary mechanism we will talk about, DC we will talk about of ICAI. This DC doesn't review the work of the auditors, but where any of these boards which today are on this platform today, all coming together, if anyone during their reviews recommends that the disciplinary action is to be taken, then that is taken by ICAI. And for that matter, even NAFRA. So NAFRA also is a punisher. So these both are the punishers. If I talk about the reviewers, of course, it starts with my peer review board, where I said that whole firm is being reviewed. The review is done for the 3 years, the certificate is there. No other board is issuing a certificate. The board is issuing a certificate, of course. And Aniket bhai just talk about the financial reporting review board, which reviews the work of the listed entity, a single audit work. Then we have, of course, got the taxation audit quality review board. It reviews the work of the tax audits. And then again, there is a quality review board, though under the aegis of the ICAI Act. But again, it reviews only the financial audits. And all these, if they find anything which is a matter of grave concern, that is referred to the disciplinary committee of ICAI. Only NAFRA is such an authority which does both the review as well as punishment. Though it should have been separate, though the intent was to make NAFRA as a disciplinary mechanism, but now it has become both as a reviewer as well as the punisher. So it reviews itself and punishes itself. But when we are talking about this reviews process, the difference between peer review board, FRRB, TAQRB, and QRB. If I talk about PRB, as Dayabai said, that it is reviewing the whole firm for 3 years and issues a certificate. Without this certificate, you cannot do audit of a listed entity. So this is as good as when we talk about in a very simple, plain language, an ISO for my audit practicing. So that is being done. And the review done by FRRB and TAQRB, these both are on a specific assignment, and that is a very cold review done in the office of the reviewer, and there is no visit to the work of the PU. So these both are done through a process where a single company is selected, simple entity is selected, and that is being reviewed. The firm itself is not reviewed under this process. QRB, I would say, is a mix of FRRB and PRB. QRB is a mix of both FRRB and PRB. How? Now, what is the process in the QRB? QRB, what is done? The quality review board, first of all, this quality review board, if I talk about, it is a body which is through MCA, which has got one chairperson. 5 members are nominated by the central government, and 5 members are nominated by the ICAI. So total 11 persons. So that board has various other bodies, and that board meets regularly. The board, because I'm thankful to the ICAI for nominating me as a member of the quality review board. So I am aware of, because I was a technical reviewer earlier. So I am aware of the process of the both boards. The board selects a unit based upon the entity it selects, which is on a random basis. That audit, that company is selected, and that company, when selected, it sees who's the auditor, and then that audit is allotted to a technical reviewer who are impaneled. Nearly 100 reviewers are impaneled. Certain criteria is marked. So that technical reviewer, he is given certain formats through various questions which are based upon SQC1 and others. And that the reviewer in the PRB, the difference is that PRB, the practicing unit, it selects the reviewer out of the 3 given. Here it is not so. Here the quality review board selects the technical reviewer and that entity which is to be reviewed, that audit which is to be reviewed. And along with that audit, the quality control of that firm is also reviewed. That one audit assignment, in the peer review board, the technical reviewer selects various assignments, various engagements to be reviewed. Here, the engagement which is to be reviewed is selected by the quality review board, the single engagement. And technical reviewer is allotted that. There is no opportunity with the auditor to disagree with the technical reviewer selected, right? Which is an option with the PRB. Then the technical reviewer sends a questionnaire to the auditor, which is again based on SQC1. He receives that and then plans a visit to the auditor firm, and maximum say 7 days are given. The technical reviewer goes for the on-site visit, reviews that single file as well as the SQC details which has been given, and discusses that with the auditors and issues a report. Again, the process is same which is there for the peer review board, a preliminary report and the final report, whatever is there. And that report which the technical reviewer issues, the final report to the quality review board, is sent to a group, a quality review group, similarly which is there in the peer review board too. not in the peer review, but that process is in the FRRB and TAQRB. So a mixture of all these. So that group sees the work of the reviewer, and the recommendations of the group and the reviewer's comments are sent to the board. And the board then finally decides what action is to be taken, whether it has to be certain advisories given to the auditor, or if anything is grave, then refer that matter to for the disciplinary action to the institute. So again, reviewer is the QRB, the punisher is the ICAI here in the QRB. Similarly, the process is there for my FRRB as well as TAQRB. They review, and if they find anything adverse, that is referred to the disciplinary committee, disciplinary directorate of the ICAI for the further action. So the major differences, which I say because I say it is a mixture of PRB, taken the processes from the PRB, FRRB, and TAQRB all together. If I talk about certain differences, just for your information, of course, it is a separate body, because here in PRB, FRRB, and TAQRB, there is no outside member unless someone is represented to the board directly, which the ICAI seeks. Here, 5 members are nominated by the central government and 5 by the ICAI, and 1 is the chairperson, who is again a non-chartered accountant. These 5 nominated members are also non-chartered accountant. Here, the expertise of the reviewers is a bit difficult, a bit more, depending upon the year of experience, because here it is 15 years. The selection of the reviewer in the case of PRB is done by the practicing unit. Here it is done by the board itself. So there is no choice with the PRB. Audit file, again, in case of PRB, it is taken up by the reviewer. But in the QRB, the technical reviewer has no option. The file which has been selected has to be reviewed only that. Cost of this review, if I talk about, in PRB, the cost is being borne by the practicing unit. In FRRB and TAQRB, the review cost is borne not by the PU, but by the respective boards. In quality review board, again, the cost is being borne by the board and not by the practicing unit. So only in the PRB, the cost is being borne by the practicing unit. Traveling expenses, again, in PRB, there are no traveling expenses which are reimbursed. In QRB, the traveling expenses are being reimbursed on a daily allowances basis, and the travel and all those things is there. The disciplinary action, if I talk about peer review board, up to 31st March 2014, there was a China wall between peer review board and the disciplinary committee of ICAI. But with effect from 1st April 2014, that China wall was broke, and the peer review board now has to recommend the cases to the disciplinary committee when there is a grave, I would say, non-compliance. But in QRB, it is there since beginning. The report which is to be issued in the PRB is by the reviewer to the ICAI, and it is shared only for the purpose of ICAI. But for the QRB, it can send directly these reports to any other regulatory authority also. End result, in the peer review board, if I talk about a peer review certificate is issued, the periodicity which thereby is already must have told about it. Here in quality review board, there is nothing such report issued, only that yes, auditor is compliant. Intent of both, I would say all the 4, peer review board, FRRB, TAQRB, and QRB, is the audit quality, to ensure the enhancement of the audit quality and make them aware, right? So that was all about quality review board. Both are functioning very, very fine, and I'm hoping that after coming of NAFRA, the QRB is currently not looking into the listed companies review. My personal view, the reviewer and the punisher should be separate. The reviewer himself should not punish. But currently, the way NAFRA is working, they have got different views. So whatever the government says, that is very fine. DC doesn't review. It only punishes. So my humble request to each and every participant out here to ensure that the quality of the audit is improved, have the proper documentation, have the proper compliance of the technical standards, whether it is AS, AAS, standards on auditing or any other engagement standards, so that the quality is maintained, enhanced, so that the audit remains a predominant monopoly of only the chartered accountants. Because the accounting, the standards, the compliances as is understood by chartered accountants cannot be understood by anyone else. Even if the quality review board is there, or even NAFRA is there, or anyone else, if it has to understand the auditing standards, the compliances of the Schedule 3 or any other regulatory, the back end, they have to have a chartered accountant. So this is what I feel. So thank you, Dayabai, for giving me an opportunity to share my views about this QRB, which you have allotted to me. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pramod Bhai. I think the way you have put forward, you have read my mind and you've put it on the screen. So thank you very much for giving that up, setting it right. But friends, one thing which I would like to tell you, to just before I give the screen to Durgesh Bhai, who is, I'll talk about him also. But Pramod Bhai, frankly, I have certain things which are there in my mind. Might be the new regulators are coming and playing a different role. Unfortunately, the fact is the QRB is undoubtedly a body which has been registered, which is under MCA. It is not under ICAI, though it is monitored by ICAI, but it is completely under. So I don't know what is the purpose of having one more body and one more regulator in the process. Let me be very frank. I'm a council member. I do have my view to express. But the fact is, and this QRB particularly has government nominees more than us. So in the entire process, when there is one or two instances happening, it cannot be a situation where the entire profession can be blamed. I'm very clear. I think you will also agree with that statement, right?
No, thereby just want my one view out here. So if a person is required to maintain the quality of the audit and reviewing, and because certain class of companies is now done only by NAFRA. So in those companies, if something uneventualities happens, any fraud happens, who would be responsible? NAFRA, na?
Obviously, let it be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because they are responsible for maintaining and they are doing the reviews. So they are responsible now. So if any fraud happens, NAFRA would be responsible.
But Pramod Bhai, again, they are actually into the post-mortem exercise. It has to be on real-time basis rather than
Sir, what was ICAI also doing? So if NAFRA is saying, okay, it is not my role. If any fraud happens, I am only the punisher. So let them be punisher, na? Review is being done by QRB, PRB, others. So if they are saying no, we are responsible, then they should take the responsibility of the frauds also.
Yes, I think because they have been putting ICAI into responsibility, now it is their time to take responsibility.
Yeah, they are.
And exceptions cannot. Yeah, exceptions cannot be an example for the entire profession as such. I think you have put forward all these views very clearly, and more importantly, when you talk about QRB, which was been again, nomination was done by MCA, and all these activities have been happening. And it is not that every place it is going to be a place where all the people can be blamed at in one given point in time. Yes, the person who has done it wrong, surely punished. Not only them, we will punish. So that is not a problem at all. And we have been doing an effective role all throughout. But your role with regards to the quality review board, I am fortunate to be part with you, and Durgesh Bhai also happens to be part of that. And we know how independent it is with regards to the kind of decision making. And one point which I am telling again with regards to, Aniket was talking about how independent FRRB also is working, though that is part of the institute. But still, the peer review board is still independently working. So I don't know what happens, but there is something which is going on. But yes, we are proud about our institute, the way we are actually doing. We had certain issues with regards to disciplinary, I think last year and this year, again under the leadership of Niyar Bhai and Devashi sir. We have come down to a pendency of only 2 years, which is nowhere in the world, I think, or no other regulator has actually come down to that particular level. We are proud that we are Institute of Chartered Accountants and will continue to be there. Yes, one point which you talked about, Pramod Bhai, with regards to quality, I think everyone, Pramod, Atulji, Aniket, you have talked about. And who is the person with us today? I think I don't know why Durgesh Bhai has gone upside down. But I know while
Teach us
drafting, while drafting the AQMM, undoubtedly this man has put his heart and soul into it and ensured that the quality measurement which we are talking about with regards to the firms is becoming very, very important. Durgesh Bhai, thank you very much for the kind of value add you have done by introducing the concept of AQMM, Audit Quality Maturity Model. The pain you have gone through, I know still, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at mornings, you have called me to take my inputs also, because I was working out somewhere or the other, and you always never bothered about the time, but you bothered about delivering the AQMM. Pramod bhai, I think you will also agree, he might have also bothered you that way. And a
Yes,
man with so much of a passion for this profession, Durgesh bhai, having you here, and you being the first convener of Center for Audit Quality, which is a dream of many institutes, you have made it, and you are the first convener. Friends, I think, listening from the horse's mouth will make a whole lot of difference. And a man who's put in heart and soul within less than 12 months, a person who got the entire audit quality maturity model. And it is time that you need to introduce in your firm, measure the quality of your firms so that you actually ensure that you can stand the toughest fight at any given point in time. Our interest from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, from all the boards, is to give quality measurement at all times, not to go for punishments. We want to guide. That is the most important part. Yes, if people are not guided, obviously it's going to misfire. And misfire, the missile is going to come and hit us again only. So that is the point which is there. Pramod bhai, thank you very much for joining us from not in Delhi at this point in time, I know. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me introduce this great man who has actually contributed a lot in the entire process. Not audible? Is it audible?
Yes, audible.
Pramod bhai, yeah, audible. Yeah. So a man who's actually put in heart and soul into it and ensured that, during the COVID time, he gives a good value to the profession and introduced the concept of AQMM to this profession, which nowhere in the world it has. And the convener of Center for Audit Quality, Durgesh Kabra, is with us. Let us listen from him. What is his views and what is that we need to take care to be protected? And let us, when you talk about a vaccination, when you talk about a mask, when you talk about hand gloves, I think AQMM plays all those roles for ensuring that, you move forward in the right spirit. Over to you, Durgesh bhai, for your...
Thank you. I'll leave.
Thank you, Pramod.
Thank you, Pramod.
Thank you, Durgesh bhai.
Daya bhai, it's indeed a pleasure for me to be part of this deliberation. Though the Center for Audit Quality is not the legislative, doesn't have the legislative role like peer review board, QRB and TAQRB is having, where some disciplinary mechanism is being suggested from these boards to the DC committee of ICAI. But if the role of the Center for Audit Quality is to be considered, and let me tell you, friends, when you have the quality in your audit, I'm sure, friends, you are not going to suffer through the various things which are being checked by peer review board or by QRB or by TAQRB, because you are maintaining the quality. And how to maintain the quality? Let me tell you, our Atul Gupta sir, with the immediate past president of the institute, he has visioned it out. He has seen a dream that we must have the Center for Audit Quality in India at the ICAI. And we are the second in the world to have this Center for Audit Quality. But let me tell you, friends, after USA, we are first in the world to have the Audit Quality Maturity Model version 1. Across the world, no one is having this kind of maturity model available, and none of the institute, and even at the IFAC level also. So friends, it was a challenge when this was given to me. It was a new subject for me, how and what to be done in the Center for Audit Quality. And let me tell you, friends, all council colleagues and all the top-notch professional of our fraternity have guided me, have helped me out to come out with this audit quality maturity model. And as far as technology is concerned, Daya Bhai and Aniket Bhai was always there to help me out and finding out what is to be added in the portion which is related to the technology. And I'll be discussing with those things to you. Friends, let me tell you that audit quality is a very important aspect of the chartered accountancy profession. Today, the stakeholders have grown beyond the shareholders, and auditors need to do more in less time. And how it can be done? Unless and until you use the technologies like robotic process automation and data analytics as a force and speed multipliers, the expectations from the auditor has also increased manifold by all these stakeholders. They would need to upskill themselves and invest in their people. Likewise, also, there are a variety of factors that will contribute to the success of the auditors, which includes the independence, the ethics, the knowledge, and the experience of the staff being some factor which are directly going to affect the audit quality. And friends, simultaneously, communication is also equally important as reporting. That is because the prevention is better than the cure. So everything is to be communicated in a proper way. That is most important. Now, how to enhance the audit quality? That is a big question. Correct. And for that, what exactly we need is we need to have the proper documentation. We need to have the documentation tool. We need to use the substantive analytical procedures. That makes the difference. And as far as the tools are concerned, let me tell you, friends, the CMP committee of the ICAI, where I'm also part of the group which has been created for audit tools, audit documentation tools, digital library, and data analytics tool, where I'm co-convener of the group. These tools are being either developed or being procured from the outside, and it will be given to all the small and medium practitioners. I would say all the practitioners, but all big practitioners are having their own tools. So these tools will build the skill set of the small and medium practitioners, and that will help the small and medium practitioners to have the better quality. And friends, as the audit quality cannot be measured, but a relative comparison between firms can be done. Audit quality is a complex subject, and no analysis of it has achieved any universal recognition, friends. And there, this AQMM is going to make the difference, which has been rolled out by the ICAI on 1st of July. It is, let me tell you, it is not mandatory initially for a period of 1 year. It is applicable to certain categories of the firms and not to all the firms. But let me tell you, friends, that it is going to help all the Indian chartered accountant firms. It's basically a capacity building measure which will help all the Indian firms. And friends, our auditors who are grappling with the new accounting standards and auditing standards and with many other things will not face the problem if all the AQIs which are there in the audit quality maturity model, AQIs known as the audit quality indicators, are being followed properly by the Indian chartered accountant firms. Friends, as I told you, this being the capacity building measure, this will provide angular discussions on the audit quality. This will help bridge the expectation gap. The CAQ will provide to all the members of the fraternity who are into the practice. And friends, the objective of this evaluation matrix is for sole proprietors as well as small and medium practitioners and the audit firms whose maturity level is comparatively low and would like to improve like anything. And it also helps in identifying the various areas where you need to improve upon your competency and wherever you are lacking, and you can build the capacity, which ultimately helps you to upgrade to a higher level of maturity, friends. Friends, let me tell you that this maturity model is currently applicable to the auditors of listed companies, the auditors of banks other than the cooperative banks. However, the multi-state cooperative banks are included, and of the insurance company. If you are the auditor for these kind of categories of companies or the banks or the insurance company, then this audit quality maturity model is for you. You need to evaluate yourself. Nobody else is going to see you. But my only and humble request is, don't put any wrong informations, because Daya Nivas Sharma is watching you. He is the person who is heading the peer review board. If you do the wrong self-evaluation, then in the peer review board, he will reject your firm. And you are being rejected, then you will not have the listed companies audit, the bank's audits or so. So be ethical, use the values and do the real self-evaluation, which is needed for the purpose of finding out the actual and real maturity level of your firm. And by which you will come to know that yes, where you need to improve upon. That is what is needed. And friends, the total score for this maturity model is 600, of which in the first section, which is known as the practice management, with respect to the operational part, there are 280 marks. Second section, which deals with the human resources, which includes the technology part also, is having the 240 points or marks. And section 3 deals with the practice management with respect to the strategies and function, is having the 80 marks, totaling to 600, of which, friends, how it is to be evaluated is again important. The 25% of these are for the system, developed system, correct? You have the system in place, but if you are not using that system, it is not operating effectively, for which we need to report for the company also in IFC. So you have the system in your firm, but you are not operating effectively, then 75 marks is for operating effectively. So be careful, just penning down the system, penning down the checklist for all those AQIs is not going to help you out. But you need to see that these are being properly followed in your organization, in your firms, and then the 75% of the balance will also be allotted to you by yourself. So this is how it is being calculated. And friends, there are 4 maturity model for this particular thing. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Level 1 is up to 25% in each section. So all the 3 sections, you need to have 25%. And these are the firm. The level 1 indicates that the firm is a very nascent one, will have to take immediate step to upgrade the competency, or will be left, otherwise it will be left lagging behind. Then the second level is 25 to 50%, indicates the firms has made some progress, will have to fine tune further to reach to the next level of competency. Then the third one is 50 to 75%. This is known as level 3. This indicates that the firm has made substantial progress, will have to fine tune further to reach the highest level of the competency. And highest level is level 4, correct? So in the level 4, where it is above 75%, this indicates that firm have made significant adoption of standards and procedures which are laid down by them and should focus on optimizing further. Friends, here also there are in the evaluation criteria, there are 1 to 1.1 to 1.9 are there in the practice management operation. Then 2.1 to 2.5 is there in the human resources. Then 3.1 to 3.3 is there in the practice management strategic and functional. So friends, you have to see that what are the AQIs into these various criterias and how these are being complied with by your firm. And how to comply with this, we are coming out with the implementation guide to the AQM, which will be released before 31st of this month, most probably. We are ready with this. We are just reviewing the implementation guide to the audit quality maturity model. So you can go through that implementation guide and where your firm stands, how you should evaluate your firm. You comes to know about that and you evaluate in the right way. So friends, this will help you all to judge that where you stands for, whether at level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. It will help to judge yourself and build your capacity for that you are at level 1, how to reach at level 2. If you are level 2, how to reach at level 3. And if you are at level 3, how to reach at level 4. The 4 is the ultimately a pinnacle where you have reached, and there you can try to get up to 100%. Nobody is 100% perfect. So above 75 is the pinnacle basically of your quality as far as the quality measurement is concerned in the audit and assurance practices. So friends, I'm sure that when AQMM is being used by you as a self-evaluation tool, it will help to measure yourself in a right way, and it will help the stakeholders also to approach you that if you are into level 2, level 3, or level 4, they will prefer to have those kind of firms who offer their work. And when you are there into level 4, level 3, you would be able to negotiate better on the fees part also because you have your own standards, and that will make difference. So I believe that we must follow all these things, and this will help all of us to have the proper documentation, proper tool, which will be used for the purpose. And as is told by Dayaniva Sharma, that it is acting as the mask, acting as the sanitizer, and also acting as the self-distance, which are 3 protocols for the corona. By corona, you can, by using these 3, you can save your life from corona. I'm sure, friends, if you follow the all AQIs of the AQMM, you will never find a disciplinary action against you because you will be having the perfect documentation in your firm, perfect audit tool in firm, perfect all the SQC policy, standard on the quality control policies you will be having there. How to maintain the independence, how to have the other things in place, how to deal with the HR, etc. All things will be there. And when these will be there, you will be keeping a track of all those things, record of all those things. And the institute is coming out with the all 4 tools: digital library, audit documentation tools, data analytical tools, and audit tools. So this will help practice management tools. So all these 4, which is going to be provided free of cost. Ranjit Bhai is working on the practice management tool, and the Daya Bhai is involved with us in the data analytics as well as in the audit quality tool. So I'm sure that this will help all of us when it is being provided free of cost to all of you to have the best quality in the auditing and assurance services. So friends, what I would like to tell you here at the end is, if we follow this audit quality maturity model, which is being prepared by the Center for Audit Quality with the help of all my colleagues like Dayanivas Sharma, MP Vijay Kumar, Sanjeev Singhal, Nilesh Vikamseji, PR Ramesh, Manish Sampat, and there are many more, Vikas Kaset, Achana Bhutani. There are many whose name should be there. And I cannot forget the name of Mr. Srinivas Joshi, who is the deputy convener of this Center for Audit Quality. All people have helped, and we could bring out this well within the time, which was a challenge for me, which I took it up. I have been encouraged by past President Atul Gupta ji. He said, Durgesh, bhai, you need to do this. If you don't do this, then the things will not change. So you have to work on this. And all these friends like Dan Nivas, Aniket, and all these have helped me out to come out with this audit quality maturity model. So thanks to all my colleagues who have helped me out. And thanks to all the listeners who have heard me patiently. And I'm sure by using this audit quality maturity model, you will improve upon the skill set of your own firm and also will improve upon the maturity level of your firm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Durgesh Bhai. I think in detail, the way, friends, you can understand his depth with regards to his understanding without seeing anything. Sitting in the car, he can talk continuously for this half an hour. It itself means the involvement what he is put in. And Durgesh Bhai rightly said, this assessment tool is a self-assessment tool, but that will be monitored by peer review board in the entire process. But the agenda is very simple. First, we want to give an opportunity for our firms to improvise. And then we would like to monitor. And then let that be the rest part. But the fact is, if you friends look into one particular aspect, the institute agenda is first to develop that part of quality, which is very important, and do a measurement model. Because every one of us might be thinking that, we are doing the right thing, but there is no measurement of doing the right thing. So that is how the AQMM has come into existence. And that is how we are actually looking forward to ensure that this has been effectively implemented. Though it is recommendatory for certain class of firms which need to implement that. But what I request as a council member, what best we can give it from the council point of view is different quality aspects. People might be thinking that, so much need to be done. Yes, we need to demonstrate the quality time and again in every circumstances and situation. I think, Durgesh Bhai, the kind of assessment tool which has been made out, and the best part is it doesn't leave you with, a negative mark or, the sense of dissatisfaction, but also it gives us a roadmap of how do we implement the entire thing to make our firm more stronger. This is where our approach has been all throughout. Friends, by now you might have understood when our beloved past President Atul Gupta ji came and spoke about what is expectation and how that need to be delivered, followed with Aniket ji, who talked about the Financial Reporting Review Board, then Pramod Jain ji, and now Durgesh Bhai, who has talked about we want to do a hand holding, but it is basically you need to also hold hand of us. Thank you, Durgesh Bhai, for making it possible during your journey time also. This is how our life has been. We are passing by every time, but the only advantage of technology is that, all of us from different sections are able to come on screen. And this being the first of its kind webinar where all set of people is, being part of the entire ecosystem. And we are just trying to put forward, what is there in our institute. This is something I think we all have to cherish. Negative things will continue to be there, undoubtedly. But what is a positive thing which need to be accumulated and we need to start moving? Thank you, Durgesh Bhai. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Dayanivas. Thank you very much. And thanks to all my other colleagues who are there and who will be guiding all the members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So friends, I think you all have gone through this aspect, and let me repeat it for the repetition's sake. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. I think, what Institute is continuously doing is that we don't want people to be completely perfect. There is no date of perfection and there is no time of perfection. We only have to do continuous improvement to demonstrate that your intention was right, and that is how that has to be documented well, because documentation is the only thing which is going to speak about our efforts which we have been putting in. Today has been a day which is very, very important in the entire, the ways we have done the VCM and all. And I also would like to wish Nidhi Madam, thank you very much for ensuring that, the peer review test, I think, is being conducted, and a lot of messages are coming that people are passing. And we are very happy to say that this is the first time we introduced the concept of assessment test for the peer reviewer. And we have close to not less than 600 people who have qualified their peer review assessment test. And the peer reviewers now are actually qualified peer reviewers in true sense. Earlier, we had a mechanism of only going through the training, but today I am very happy to see a lot of messages pouring in for their passing out. That itself is making a whole lot of difference. So friends, before Ranjit Bhai joins us from another location, let me just take you through a thought which I thought, it is very critical. If you see the entire ecosystem, I am really thankful to the President CA Nihar Jambusaria sir for giving us the liberty to express all our views every time among our members, among our regulators, and among our, wherever the stakeholders are. And he's always encouraged us to do these kind of programs on a continuous basis, though his absence is there. But I would like to recognize his presence in his thoughts that he is actually given us in form of different activities every year. And that one being the financial and tax literacy drive that we are going to take some time later. But, followed with Devashish Mitraji, who's actually been a man who's been the chairman of CLCGC, which is Corporate Law and Corporate Governance Committee, who actually has discussed multiple things with regards to NAFTA, and every time they have always been guiding us in the entire process. We have little more time left for us. Before I go to the presentation which I'm going to do for the peer review board, before Ranjit Bhai joins, let me just try to come on screen. Just give me a moment, please. Anyone wants to go and have a quick glass of water, please do that. I'm just sharing my screen shortly. One quick thing, 1 second. Nidhi Madam, hope you are there. One minute, please. Let me share this document with you. Last year was the year in which, after 18 odd years, we could actually get the peer review statement completely revamped. It is time where we all have to understand why this revamp was required, because over a period of time, lot of things were being old, concepts were being recorded, and it was I was given an opportunity to completely relook into the entire aspect. I hope you are able to see the screen. So this happens to be my second year in the peer review board as a chairman of the peer review, and I have been supported by all the council colleagues so effectively, by the presidents, both the year presidents, who have given us a lot of confidence to revamp the entire peer review board. And this actually comes out with a thought like, last year when we revamped, we conceptualized the part of peer review as, by nurturing professionals, we are nurturing profession. So this is how the thought process has been completely changed. And that is why this concept was being introduced. Together we can grow. And this is how this picture of peer review process, that, one professional is actually nurturing the other, and the other one is nurturing the other. This is how the cycle actually is going to go on. What better we want when you talk about an assessment or a review of a professional colleague is going to be done by another professional colleague. It is like a family which we need to look into, where, any mistakes which has happened by mistake also is going to be first reviewed by the professional on the counterpart. Friends, the concept which people have been thinking that, peer review process is only applicable for the larger firms. I've been telling from last year continuously, no, the peer review is primarily applicable for all the small firms where there are not multiple partners who are doing a quality review among themselves. Today, when we see the NAFRA report, specifically for one of the report which has recently been released, I don't want to name them, it is public document though. The point was the external quality review actually failed in certain cases. This is where we are telling on a continuous basis that, if you don't have partners within the firm, it is always better to get your firm peer review, because that is going to be one of the most crucial part in the code of ethics also, that you need to get your firm externally reviewed. And what more we want from the institute, when we talk about, yes, we are smaller firms, we don't have the wherewithal. We last year have introduced the new concept of networking guidelines, where we said that firms of the similar nature across the length and breadth of the country, within the city, within the state, can come together and form their network. What more we can expect from the institute on a continuous basis that we can give it to you? We have done our best all throughout. It is time that the rest part is to be taken up by you now. And when you talk about the peer review mechanism, one firm to other firm or one person to another person is going to be the review mechanism. And we have a complete non-disclosure arrangement which is there within the peer review framework itself, where no one can share your information out. They cannot take even a photograph or information or a file document copy along with them when they are actually completing the peer review. So this is what we have maintained, the confidentiality part also. Number two, when you're talking about the review process, it is always better before FRRB review happens, before the TAQRB review happens, before the QRB review happens. It is worth to have a peer review done by another professional colleague who is not going to be, policing, but he's only going to guide us in true sense. In the process, when we talk about a networking, I think, that is the best way where different set of minds can come together, though we might not be willing to make a large firm, but by doing a network, it is going to be an opportunity to come together, and you are going to draft a separate, document, which is called the networking document or whatever it is going to be called. It is going to be drafted and put forward, where you are going to align all your quality aspects. Might be firm A, B, C, and D, which is there. They are good in certain aspects. So what we can do is, when all the partners sit together, they can actually come on a table, put out all the best practices which are there in different firms, consolidate, and automatically that becomes the best quality document in the system. So what are you waiting for? I don't understand. It is time where we need to really demonstrate that, these all facilities which are being given by the institute, which is not that, tax audit, bank audits, GST audit is only going to protect us. There is much more which we need to continuously demonstrate in the market. And that is what we want you people to look in and ensure that that quality aspect is being maintained all throughout. Yes, we are talking today continuously on the quality, and quality, because we have been maintaining a quality. That is the reason all the clients are with us. That is the reason people refer us various stakeholders to us. That is the reason a signature of a chartered accountant is always been recognized. Exceptions being exception, let us not talk about that, because they are going to go through their punishment cycle, which is not our interest. Our interest is just to ensure that documentation is rightly maintained and that is being done on a regular basis. We cannot rest till the time we are signing the reports at different level. UDIN has been one more important aspect in the entire process to protect the quality of signature which chartered accountant is putting in, where people who are non-chartered accountants were signing certain reports as chartered accountants, and chartered accountants were being blamed. I think if you see the entire ecosystem, the way our institute has actually put forward their energies, we all council members, the way we have put forward our energies to ensure that the profession at large is being protected very closely. But the best part is the rest lies with you. We have done our best. The rest is basically this implementation of UDIN, whether implementation of networking guidelines, whether in getting your firm peer reviewed, whether you get your firm externally quality review done, whatever best, you need to take action. It is not that we need to take action from the institute point of view. Friends, We have come out with 3 beautiful publications. If you are going to go through, these 3 publications are beautifully drafted. One is statement on peer review. The entire mechanism of peer review has been recorded in this, followed with handbook on advisory, which is applicable for the practice unit as well as the peer reviewer. What is the activity they need to do step by step with timelines is very clearly given in this handbook on advisory. And last but not the least, the peer review manual. I don't know how many of you have actually seen the peer review manual. Beautifully, on a pictorial basis, flowchart basis, we have given all the details, including how you have to maintain your checklist, how you need to maintain the process, what is the sequence of your filing that should be there in your file with regards to the quality center, standard on audit SQC1, standard on quality control 1 is very clearly drafted. How you have to manage your people, how you have to document those processes, who is made responsible for what. Every aspect is being covered in peer review manual. If I have to go and take you through this entire process, this itself will take 3 hours. But my request to each one of you is just to ensure that these compliances are being closely monitored and reviewed with. Friends, we have put in most of the efforts from our side. When certain blame is coming, we are actually seeing that it has been affecting all of us. But what is happening is, what is missing out is that compliance which we need to do as a practicing chartered accountants, and we need to demonstrate on a continuous basis. That is missing out somewhere. That is because of which we are actually suffering in a bad way. See, what is required in the peer review process, which particularly talks about that you are in compliance with technical standards, you are in compliance with professional standards, you are in compliance with ethical standard, and then you are in compliance of all documentations which is required under various accounting standard, Ind AS or standard on auditing. So the certificate of peer review is giving you a marking, that is giving you a stamping that you have complied with all these things, and that has been demonstrated by your review and the documentation file you have maintained. Friends, my request to each one of you is, whether it is a mandatory or non-mandatory, get yourself once peer reviewed. You will get to know what are those shortcomings. God forbid any kind of circumstances come. By that time, you are ensuring that the standards are being rightly maintained, documented, well, intimated to right people. I think this will make a whole lot of difference. In a total size of 88,000 plus firms in this country, right? We have only 3,500 firms only which are subjected to peer review. Don't you think that it is a gap which is highly, noted by people across the length and breadth, including by the regulators? It is time where we need to come forward. We need to be brave enough. We need to ensure that the compliance is being reported rightly, and more importantly, our shortcomings, once it is being reported by our professional colleague, will make difference rather than actually being noted or might be reported by a regulator externally. Friends, our interest is primarily to take you through the best possible manner, whether it is standard on auditing. I'm just stopping the screen because Ranjit Bhai also has joined us. The intention of doing this particular webinar was primarily to get you all aware that, this all activities are happening. Ignorance is by the members, not by the institute. That is something which we need to bridge in and ensure that it is being complied very effectively. Ranjit Bhai, if you are available, I'll request you to kindly come on the screen. Thank you, Ranjit Bhai. You are the next person in the entire deliberation. I am the only person sitting in my office, but all the people at this point in time, really thanks to this technology where we are able to get all regulatory aspects, board aspects, come on one day, one screen. Friends, we have Ranjit Agarwal with us, who is the man who has implemented UDIN so effectively that it is not only talk of town, but talk of world. And now the regulators also started adopting the entire process, which is one of the best things which the institute has given. And person like Ranjit Bhai, who has been the council member, has given us that kind of focused approach, and we could actually move forward. I was talking about the UDIN in just a while ago, but also a man who's been the vice chairman of TAQRB, which is actually looking into the aspects like FRRB does. And we have Ranjit Bhai with us to share his views with regards to the TAQRB and the way TAQRB works. Over to you, Ranjit Bhai. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Daya. First of all, my compliment to you and Rajesh Bhai of this peer review board and Nidhi ma'am for taking this initiative. I think this is the first of its kind by your board under your leadership that you are bringing all the regulatory aspects to the knowledge of the fraternity, because I know many members are not aware what is TAQRB, what is FRRB, what is the AQ, Audit Quality Center AQC, what is Quality Review Board, and how effectively these reviews are going on, and the whole purpose of all these regulatory boards are that how the quality of our members, the professional discharge they are doing should enhance. That is the whole idea. The whole idea of all these regulatory, the quality of our reporting should enhance. If in exceptional circumstances, gross negligence, things can be referred to disciplinary, but that is very, very exceptional. 99% cases, how the professionally discharging of the duty of the members are there, how we should enhance. And as far as this tax audit quality review board is concerned, this is the new board started in 2018. And this year, Pramod Bhai Jain is the chairman, I'm the vice chairman. And the whole concept of this tax audit quality review board is equally what was the FRRB, the Aniket heading this year, Financial Reporting Review Board. And what we have seen in this board that we took up 100 tax audit reports done by our member randomly through some software mechanism. And these are the initially started with the listed company, 100 crore company turnover. And when we go through the three layer of review on the line of the FRRB, technical reviewers are in panel who are the chartered accountant who can review the tax audit supplied by this board. Then this review done by one technical reviewer is sent to a group of the CA who has been constituted across the country. 25 to 30 groups are constituted where 5 chartered accountants are there. Then they review this tax audit report done by this single reviewer and they give their own comments also. Now we have 2 reviews, one by the individual reviewer, one by the group review. These 2 review reports of that tax audit done by our member is then reviewed by the board. And after discussing and deliberating entire nitty-gritty of the reporting done by our member, by this 3 layer of review, then the board decide whether the quality of the audit done by our member is true and correct, which is the requirement of the tax audit. As far as financial reporting, it is true and fair. In tax audit, it is true and correct. So based on this 3 layer of review, we compliment our member. Your reporting is very good. If some lacuna or some common errors are there, we give them the advisory. Of course, you have done a very good job, but here you have not done as which is the required of the law, which is the requirement of our guidance note of the tax audit. You have not properly disclosed all the 44 clauses requirements. So all these common errors, we give them as an advisory. And in exceptional circumstances, which has not happened so far in since 2018, in exceptional circumstances, the reporting done by a member, if there's some gross negligence, that can be referred to the district. But so far, 2018 to 21, 3 years, we have just given the advisory. And what are the common error members are doing? Like there is a requirement of SS 700, revised reporting as per tax audit, SS 700 requirement. Most of the members don't give this SS 700 requirement in the space provided in the tax audit uploading portal, which they have to compulsory do. And as per the clause 3 and 5 of the section 44AB, as the case may be, they have to give this reporting requirement, which they don't give. So this is the common error done by our member number 1. Second common error they do, what is the auditor's responsibility and what is the management responsibility? So auditors and management responsibility has been specified and is to be reported as per clause 3 and 5 of the 44AB as the case may be. But most of the report we have seen, they are not properly reporting in that aspect. There are innumerable of section. There are many expenditure where expenditure is huge. The quantity and the quantum is huge. The paid are huge, which you can quantify. So on these cases, those kind of expenditure, we have to take a certificate from the SSC. On the basis of the certificate of SSC, we report. But this aspect we don't mention in the report, which is the mandatory, because when you cannot audit because of the huge volume of the data or huge number of the paying, you have to mention that based on the certificate of the SSC, we are reporting so and so. So this aspect is also missing. We have also seen that many times in related party transactions, 48-2B, name of the payee, the PAN number, and the quantity and the amount are not there. They have given a consolidated amount, and details of the payee are not there, which is not the requirement of the guidance note. Because whatever 44AB or any section in 3CD we are reporting, it has to be as per the guidance note of the ICAI. Of course, this guidance note has been not revised so far. 2014 we are seeing, but this year it ended the process. But whatever guidance note requirement is there, we have to report in that way. That is the mandatory requirement of 4480. Then we have seen many places ICDS, like there are 10 ICDS. We are not mentioning reporting each and every ICDS. If some ICDS are applicable, we mention, rest we kept blank. That is not the way. Every ICDS you have to mention applicable, not applicable, nil, yes, whatever you want. And we have seen there are 44 clauses. Some clauses are applicable, some are not. Many times members are keeping those clauses blank. Now, in this era of faceless assessment, now if you are not putting the reporting format rightly and with the complete particulars, then the chances of picking those reporting for scrutiny are high, because artificial intelligence and the systems are working now in the faceless assessment. There is no human intervention is there. So if the requirement of the reporting is not as per the law, then they will pick up for the scrutiny and the client will be in the trouble. More further requirement will be there. So our responsibility as an auditor is that to the extent possible, all the 44 clauses should be reported to the extent possible in detail, so that the further explanation should not be required. And friends, those who are senior members, they might be aware, in 1982, when this tax audit was started, the idea of this tax audit by the government that once it is done by a chartered accountant, the assessing officer further explanation will not require. He will take it as it is there basis by the auditor and they will pass the order. But because of the complexity of the law over the so many years, that is not the case now. Whatever you are reporting will not be accepted by the assessing officer. So now our responsibility are huge and increasing day by day because of the complexity of the law. But now in this faceless era, if we are not reporting as per the requirement of the law, then chances of scrutiny and the further requirement will be enhanced. And our assessment or our order by the officer will make the assessing the term. So our responsibility are huge. And we as a professional, we are the pioneer of financial audit, tax audit. And I will tell you, sir, most of the financial transaction of this country, if you call it $3 trillion economy, I was calculating in India, and because of the various certificates we see, more than 75% of the financial transaction of this country are certified by one professional, that is TAQRB. Of such a huge work we are interested on our soldiers, and we are such a responsible professional that it is our duty to report all the data in the true and correct way. And that is the whole idea of this tax audit quality review board. Just to how to enhance the quality of the board, we have already done 4 or 5 webinar clause by clause. A recorded version is there. You can see how the members are making small errors. And because of those small errors, the SSC should not be in that trouble. We are also come out with a checklist last year if you, the checklist of the tax audit, which is the documentary aspect to fulfill the documentary requirement as per ethical standard board. If you give this checklist to your article or the staff, and if he or she fills up that checklist, then the 80% of the audit is done. Now, for professional judgment or professional skepticism, 20% you have to apply your professional judgment. So that will also be considered as a documentary requirement, documentary evidence, which is the requirement of the now ethical standard board, which has to be kept by every chartered accountant firm for every SSC. So in our case, this checklist will help you to have a documentary evidence and complete the audit in tandem, which is the requirement of the law. So these are the some of the initiative of the board. Those members who want to be the technical reviewer or a group of the reviewer, both are welcome because we have constituted 2025 board groups across the country. If you want to be contribute in that board as a technical reviewer individually or as a group of members, you can write to us. You can write to Pramod Bharji and me. There are anybody. We can send you the form, and you can fill up the form. You will be in panel. As a gesture, although it is not a peanut, as a gesture, we also give some remuneration because you are spending some time to review all these things. But that is not the case because for you, time is more important than the small remuneration. So these are the some of the initiative of this tax audit college to the board. If you feel any query, anything, you can mail us, Daya, me, any case, ma'am, anybody, we will be happy to respond. So I think, Daya, thank you very much for giving us a chance to display the working of this board to the fraternity at large, because many members still are not aware what this board is, how they done. Today also I have come to one of the this place in our region to speak on the common error in tax audit. What are the common error members make in tax audit? So I am speaking from the airport. So thank you, Daya, for giving me a chance to know, aware our members. And I think you have done a very good job, a very commendable job by bringing all the boards together to make awareness to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ranjit Bhai. And it's been, I think you have put forward very clearly. And it is not my vision alone. You all have been a great support in my entire thinking process. And the moment I spoke to you as well, you immediately agreed to be part of this entire thing. This is just a beginning of, Atul sir came and he was talking, this is just a beginning, not the end. This is the beginning of sharing with our members at large what we can do and how we need to do. Both things. And it is not that, opportunities are going, new opportunities also will come. Nothing happens. If a chartered accountant signature is going to be devalued, I don't think that means you are going to end up with devaluing your economy also. Rightly stated by you, Ranjit Bhai, you have done an analysis of UDIN, the number of UDINs which has been generated is actually can be compared with the economy, which is a $3 trillion economy, and the percentage what you talked is something and astonishing. And thank you very much for giving this, views on today on this particular platform to come and share your views also. Thank you very much. I know you are in the airport. You please continue. I'm also going to conclude the session because it is now almost 7 minutes. We are within which we are going to conclude our discussion. So friends, the point of taking you through all in this entire interesting journey today, how many of you have attended? We have the register which is there. But the point is, this is not going to end here. We are going to place this entire recording on the peer review board web page as well as on the ICAI TV, where people are really going to understand and appreciate the kind of energy and effort which has been put by the council. I can only, before concluding the entire discussion, I can only thank my current president, Nihar Jammusaria sir, who has actually given always his go ahead when we talk about any new initiatives that we need to introduce, which has been well supported by the vice president of the institute. Both are very, very capable and efficient to handle the entire process. And today we know how they are actually going discussion with the government as well as on the different regulators. Thanks to both of them. And today you might have understood the peer review board, TAQRB, FRRB, QRB, CAQ, and the digital competency maturity model, the audit quality maturity model, networking, audit, UDIN, all these are actually forming part of that steel shield which we are trying to create for our members. But the only point is, if a person would not like to wear a shield, that is his choice or her choice. It cannot be actually enforced on. But yes, the enforcing will happen in a different manner. But yes, friends, 72 years, the Institute has given us a lot of love, care, protection, and also some punishments. But yes, that body has been always kept all of us on the top. We have with us no other person than my vice chairman, Rajesh Sharma ji, who has always been a guiding force in the entire process. This entire journey of 32 elected members, 8 government nominees, then plus the regulatory framework, external bodies which are monitoring us. We as a members have always ensured that, we give the first wall of protection. But the point is, when we are giving so much, we have to use that much. We cannot say that it is a burden on a body to wear a bulletproof jacket. Right, Rajesh bhai? If you have to wear a bulletproof jacket, obviously, if you want to protect from bullets, you need to wear a bulletproof jacket, and the bulletproof jacket is going to be a little heavy. And that is how this quality review boards have actually been working on. So let me welcome my dearest brother in the council, who has been a very big guiding force and a man who has always been protecting the profession in all the true spirit. When it is matter of coordinating with the government, the listening with the government, he's been on the forefront, having the first person in the entire process. With me, I have Rajesh Sharma ji, who is the vice chairman of the co-chairman of the peer review board and a big guide in the process. Friends, we tried in this 7 series program what best we could do. We have talked about the performance evaluation. We have talked about how you improvise your firm. We talked about documentation. We talked about digitization. We talked about how you create that awareness with regards to multiple certification which chartered accountants are signing. And today, all these boards, the role which they are playing to ensure that the protection is right way, whether if it has not been followed, obviously the punishment is there. But if out of 198 are going to be right and 2 are going to be wrong, that is the evaluation we need to demonstrate to the world, to the society, to the regulators, to the government every time. With me, I have Rajesh bhai. Over to you, Rajesh bhai, for your concluding remarks and vote of thanks for concluding this 7 series program.
Thank you, Daya. In absentia, our past president, Atul Gupta. In absentia, my dear colleague, who is vice chairman of Tax QRB. Basically, I was vice chairman with him, and now he is vice chairman, Ranjit Agrawal. In absentia, Aniket Talati, again, who is chairman of FRRB. And in absentia, Pramod Jain. I'm really thankful to all of them for sparing time. I think it was a great learning for all of us, having several past presidents, listening to them, listening what is the institute's view, knowing how hand-holding can be done of our practicing units so that they perform well, they document well, they plan their audit well, they perform all their tax audit and all the other audits well. So I congratulate my chairman and my brother Dayanivas for organizing such a great program. It started well on 24th of July, I think. 24th of July it started, and the first day was how to scale up CA firms, so how to improve our practice, how to move ahead, how to plan your whole structure, how to make recruitment, how to manage the people, and how to manage your whole firm. So the whole focus was on that. Then on 28th, again, we had discussed on code of ethics and who should be the engagement partner, who should be the working partner, who should be the managing partner, and how quality reviewer engagement can be done, how he can help us, and how the team composition and other part can be done. So it was again a great session, I can say. Again, on 4th, if I say, on 4th, we discussed on all the audit documentation. I can say I was there for most of the time on that day. Definitely, I can say compiling with essay, compiling with all pre-audit correspondence, all post-audit correspondence, all the type of letters, starting from appointment, consent to all the working papers, how to keep them, what type of checklist need to be prepared, how programs need to be prepared, how those need to be implemented, and all the correspondence starting from the very beginning till the end, how they need to be filed and kept, and all those things were definitely discussed. And definitely on 18th, I can say it was on the assurance service part, we had covered it well. So specifically on the tax audit part and certification of all other assurance services, we have done extensively well. I can say again on 26th and 28th, I am thankful to all the persons who have been involved. So firm automation is one of the very important part and need of the hour. If you want to improve, if you want to grow, if you want to take the world in your hands, if you want to cross the barriers and boundaries, definitely firm automation is must. And that audit tools are important, in that all the practice management softwares are important, practice management tools are important. And we have discussed a lot on all the types, how cloud servers can be used, how the file management can be done, and crossing the barrier, how we can go ahead and make the presence felt of our firm across the boundaries of the country. So today at end, first time I can say QRB, FRRB, Tax QRB and PRB has come at one platform. And thanks to Dayanivas for taking such a great initiative, that all the review boards which analyze the work, all the review boards which check how we are doing, all the review boards which do the hand-holding, so definitely stood with us, with the practicing firm, guiding them how they can move ahead, how they can enhance their work and take their practice to a great heights by following all the pronouncement of ICAI, how it is expected from ICAI, from the government, and from all other regulators at the same time. So really thankful to Dayanivas for organizing such a great program of a 7-day series. And as rightly told by Daya, if I can take about my part, since last few days I have been working hard. I'm not, I cannot justify why the government at this fag end went for when the audits, all the tax returns are going to be filed at those, just prior to that filing system, they did that hit and trial of coming with Infosys. So it is a troublesome thing. So working hard towards that how things can be improved, how we can help our members who are struggling hard on that front. So whatever is from the government side, whatever our council colleagues, whatever our president says, I do work on those fronts. Thank you very much to Daya, and over to Daya and really thankful to him for organizing such a great program, such a wonderful program. Thank you, Daya.
No, Rajesh, we all have made it. So you are the co-chairman of this committee. Without your concern, it cannot happen. And you know, the way you are encouraging and as elder brother has been a great motivation for me to do all these activities. Knowing that fact that you are always around me for ensuring that, you know, all these things are being taken in a true spirit. Thank you all. And thanks to my dearest brother, Rajesh Bhai, who's always been a great support in the entire process, not only for the peer review, but also the guiding force in my council term, and also, you know, on multiple forums where it is required. So thanks to you, Rajesh Bhai, for giving this encouragement on a continuous basis. Friends, it's been a time where we have almost come to the 3 o'clock. Let me just not stop by thanking, you know, only Rajesh Bhai, but the entire peer review board, the way they have worked. Nidhi Madam, Ruchika, and multiple people in the entire system have actually got encouraged. They ensure that the things are going on right time. Thank you all for giving their, you know, valued time. And thanks to all the participants who have made it, and in total we have touched close to 5,000 registrations in this entire process. Though there has been staggered approach for attending, but the fact is these all recordings will be available for all you people at every given point in time to go through this basics of being right. And I think concluding, again, I am just making a statement which I started with: continuous quality improvement is better than delayed perfection. So let's ensure that continuously we ensure the quality is improving so that this profession is always protected with each one of our hands in a right spirit rather than signing a wrong thing. Let us protect with these two hands and ensure that this profession is going to take us to the newest heights, because all of us have been, there is, finally, you cannot thank your mother. We cannot thank our institute. Both is equal. Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
So one final concluding remark from my side: ICAI and its all council member stands hand in hand with all our practicing unit so that you can improve your quality and you can improve the periphery in which you are working, and across the border you can grow, your firm can grow, and the quality of your firm and all the respects will be exclusively good. That ICAI can ensure by working hand in hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Madam, let us conclude.